Good evening, everyone. So, on a much lighter note than the last couple of videos, I'll be talking about Abbott Elementary. And just like for American Auto, I do have about half a sheet worth of notes here so I can keep my train of thought. So if I look down if I look down at the table, it's because I don't want to lose my train of thought. So, Abbott Elementary is a mockumentary. It's similar to that of The Office, but this is based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at an elementary school. And the main character is Janine Teague, who is played by Quinta Brunson, who is the creator of the show. She was known for that Vine, He Got Money, where the person was at the movie theater ordering snacks. She's been on BuzzFeed, a Black Lady sketch show. She's not new to this at all. But she is an enthusiastic teacher. She's enthusiastic about teaching, but she has issues connecting with kids and with the staff, except for her friend Jacob Hill, who is played by Chris Perfetti. So similar to Janine, he also is enthusiastic about teaching, but has issues controlling his classroom, connecting with kids and with the staff. But he is the butt of all of these jokes. Like, these kids roast this man. But here's the thing that I like about Jacob's character. He is at this elementary school to make a difference. He's not there for cultural appropriation. He's not there as a charity case. He really wants to help these children succeed. Next, we have Melissa Shementi, who is played by Lisa Ann Walter, who is in one of my most favorite movies of all time, The Parent Trap, with the late, great, gone and never forgotten Natasha Richardson and Lindsay Lohan as well. Melissa Shementi is a teacher from South Philly. She knows a guy who knows a guy, and sometimes she is that guy. Rough around the edges, but she is a veteran teacher and has a soft spot for children. Next, we have Barbra Howard, and honestly, I don't even feel right calling her Barbra Howard. I feel like calling her Miss Howard. She is played by Cheryl Lee Ralph, and I don't know why, but she gives me Delta vibes. Like my mother, she is a no-nonsense teacher. My mother was a teacher from the time I was in 2nd grade to the time I was in 11th grade, before she became an assistant principal. The kids know not to mess with Miss Howard. Now, the only difference is my mother is the I told you not to, while Miss Howard is I told you not to. But she's that teacher. You know not to mess with Miss Howard. Next, we have Gregory Eddy, who is played by Tyler James Williams from Everybody Hates Chris. Now, the thing about this character is that he officially has not been considered a teacher of the school. He is just like on a long-term sub right now. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know that episode where he has been officially, listed as a teacher of the school. He was placed halfway through the pilot episode. A teacher got kicked out and he was brought in. Now, the thing about Gregory Eddy is that he was on track to become a principal, but he needs to be a teacher so he can learn how to connect with children. He has no problem controlling his classroom, but he does not have connection with people. And he is kind of standoffish because he is just on this temporary status. But one person who he is not have any problem communicating with is Janine. The last main character we have is Ava Coleman, who was played by the comedian Janelle James. She is the comedic relief. She is ineffective, unproductive, chaotic. I don't know if she doesn't know that she's not good or she doesn't care she's not good. She makes very inappropriate jokes towards Greg. She calls him eye candy. It was one episode they were dancing. She flashed a couple of dollar bills. I don't know why, but that just had me rolling. But those are the main characters of the show. Now, one thing that I appreciate that has been done early on in this show is character development. We see characters developing, of course. Now, for Mrs. Howard, the veteran teacher, she is learning how to close the generational gap. So if you look on that episode, when with the learning system, we learned that she does not know everything. And even though she is a teacher for all this time, she does not know. Teaching in 1980 is not teaching in 2022. There are some things you have to keep up to date with all the new material. Kids might learn differently. There might be more effective ways to teach. She's still learning and she's coming to terms with that. Melissa is opening herself up. We find out early on that she's divorced and she's been flirting with the guy who fills the vending machines. Originally, she was kind of closed off to it, but she's opened up and they've gone on a couple of dates. I'm not sure if this is temporary or if this will be an ongoing thing, but it's just nice to see her journey. So one thing, I'll just stop with these two characters right now. One thing I like that Quinta Brunson and the producers of the show have done is that they have given these middle-aged women life. They're not just, the teachers who just sit there in the corner, almost like an old grandmother or a great-grandparent role. These are active teachers who have active roles in teaching. They're full of life. They're dancing. They're not just sitting on the corner doing nothing. Even with Ava, up until the last episode, until episode 9 when they were doing the steps, we did not see a lot of character development with Ava. She was doing TikToks, making inappropriate things, as I mentioned earlier. But when her grandmother had that episode, we saw a 180. She became respectful. She became responsible. We've noticed that Ava does have a heart and that she does care, and she thinks a lot more than herself. Now, whether she's a good assistant or whether she's a good principal or not, that's up for debate. But we do see that Ava does have another side to her. Now that this hiatus will be over, starting tomorrow the new episodes will come, will Ava go back to being the hot mess she was before? Or will we start to see some more of those principal qualities as to why she might have gotten this job? Now, the storyline that we all know about, if you have watched 10 minutes of it, you can pick on it extremely quick. Greg and Janine. So, from the very first episode, we can tell that Greg is interested in Janine. But the thing is, Janine is dating Tariq, who is played by Zach Fox. And whoever chose him, whoever thought of him for this role, I cannot think of a more perfect person to play this role of Tariq. Now, here's my personal opinion on Tariq. Tariq is not a bad guy. He's just not a good boyfriend. If you go back to the No Drugs episode when he was rapping, we do see some redeeming qualities. But the thing about Tariq is that he is too old to be this immature. He doesn't contribute to the house that much. He doesn't have that stable employment. He's still trying to rap at this age. If your rap career has not... Now, I'm just talking about Tariq. I'm just talking about Tariq now, because his rap career has not taken off to where he needs to be. He needs to find something else, and he is inhibiting Janine from being the best person she can be. Now, the scene that everyone has been talking about on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, even on Snapchat, is the rain scene with the umbrella. Now, Greg was dirty macking, and for some reason I thought about, that wedding scene with Whitley and Byron, on a different world. It won't work for everybody. But here's the thing that I want to mention. And I watched the scene a couple of times just so I can make sure. Never once did Greg, even though he has been interested in Janine, never once did he make himself an option or say that he was the person who Janine should be with. He just mentioned that is Tariq, I almost called him Zach Fox, is Tariq the person who you're supposed to be with? Is this man good for you? Now, here is my own, I was just thinking about this personally. Does she appreciate Greg because she appreciates another black male at the school? She has Jacob Hill. She has Miss Howard. She has Melissa. But she does not have another black male at the school. Does she appreciate the friendship that she can have from somebody her own age? Or does she like the qualities, or does she like in Greg the qualities that she does not have in Tariq? So I'm interested to see how this goes as well. Now, something else that, let me adjust this. Oh. Okay, we're back in business now. Now, the last storyline, which I might be looking more into this than it needs to be, but just hear me out. If you notice, I wonder how they're going to play out the relationship between Greg and his father, who was played by Orlando Jones. So, on the episode when Mrs. Howard and Jacob were gardening, we learned that, Greg has this rural experience with gardening, that he has this blue-collar labor experience. But on the phone call with his father, he talks about now, when are you going to get a man's job? And this is very telling. I can't speak for any other race, but I know of a lot of African American men, mainly in the generation above me, but it might happen for people in my generation as well, where you have men say you need to go to get a man's job, do men's work, blue collar labor, leave that teaching stuff for women. So I wonder how this will play out, especially since the show has been picked up for a second season. So that's my review of of Abbott Elementary so far. I enjoy the show. I can't wait to see what happens on the episodes to come, all the storylines, and even for season 2. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what you think of the show so far.